Back in the crossfire tonight, Democratic Representative Javier Becerra and Republican Representative Raul Labrador. Tonight, party leaders are scrambling to line up support for tomorrow's vote on the budget deal. You heard me, there's a deal on Capitol Hill. It's almost as rare a sighting as a Sasquatch. Maybe the folks in Washington were getting sick of that do-nothing moniker, or maybe they just want to go home for the holidays. Either way, it's a chance for Democrats and Republicans to enjoy some merriment together. And there's more reason to celebrate for Republicans. Today, new poll numbers show Republicans are ahead of Democrats in terms of who people would like to see control Congress next year. And get this, for the first time since 1995, Republicans now enjoy a double-digit lead in their handling of the economy. Merry Christmas, GOP. Congressman Labrador, Republican to Republican, those are some very good poll numbers. Is now really the time to be arguing for a shutdown when we have this embarrassment of riches in Obamacare to go on?
No one is arguing for a shutdown. And I think that's what people need to understand. What we want to do is just comply with the law. The BCA says that we should be spending $967 billion this year in discretionary spending. And it sounds like Javier agrees with me. I just want to continue with the BCA numbers.
Continuing resolution. I didn't say the 967 number is something I agree with.
So I just want to continue with what the law of the land says.
But if enough people don't vote for this, then we'll have a government shutdown, no? I mean, isn't that the consequence?
I don't think so. I think what we should do is have every Republican vote for the current number that the law already has in place, and let the Democrats decide what they're going to do in the Senate. We could continue, but it sounds like there's enough votes. I think
Democrats,
thanks to
Democrats. I got to jump in. Paul Ryan is the chairman of the Budget Committee. Republican Paul Ryan, Vice President nominee Paul Ryan, worked out a deal. Raul is saying, let's not vote for that deal. Let's vote for a number that doesn't exist in terms of a bill.
Let
the Democrats give Paul Ryan the votes that he needs to pass his deal. That's the reason why we've had such dysfunction and the inability to get things done is because we saw a shutdown because Republicans wouldn't support their own Republican leadership. But Democrats have had to do the heavy lifting for Republicans on every one of these big votes that the majority party, the Republicans,
here's where well, I agree with you on that, but here's where I think Democrats are upset, and I want to challenge you on something. You are right. Democrats are going to have to come to the table. We're going to have to put the votes on, and yet where is the help for the 1.3 million people who are active job seekers who are being thrown under the bus right now in this deal? Democrats, I've been hearing from liberals across the country who are outraged about this deal. 1.3 million active job seekers are going to be thrown under the bus. Why did the leadership cave? Why didn't we stick up for ourselves and get something for them out of this deal?
And the House Democrats have not caved. We have continued to insist that Americans who've lost their job through no fault of their own should not go into a very cold Christmas simply because the House Republican leadership.
But it's not in the deal.
Well, we're in the minority.
We have the leverage.
If we were the majority, we'd have it, and we're going to continue to fight. And that's why
I'm not going to let you get away with it.
But man, before I sign off on any deal, before I give a yes or no vote, I want to make sure I find out what's going on. If there's shenanigans going on, and if the Republican majority in the House is going to try to start to add things to the deal that wasn't part of the deal, then a lot of us are probably going to vote no.
I'm going to ask you one more time. Now listen, you have the leverage. You say you're in the minority. It's true, but you're going to be probably the majority of the people voting for this deal. You see the Republicans don't want it. Why didn't you use your leverage to help those workers, those people who are looking for work right now before Christmas?
That's what I hope Democrats exactly will do, and that is say if it's going to be up to Democrats in the House to pass a bill for the majority Republicans.
Hope is not a plan or a strategy.
Well, we can't hope. We have votes. We only have so many votes. We still have to rely on some to join with 200 Democrats to get something done. But I guarantee you Democrats will push. If we're going to have to vote for this thing and make it pass, be the people who help pass it, then we should be able to help Americans who've lost their job through no fault of their own.
Let me pile on for just a minute. The other thing that should worry Democrats is that under this deal, new federal employees are going to be paying about 5 times more than current workers into their pensions. I'm no fan of the unions, but this has got to worry you.
It does, absolutely. These are the things that Republicans insisted on that I, as a Democrat, and other Democrats did not want to see in this budget deal. That's why this is not a deal that makes anyone feel very happy. The difficulty is this. Do we want to see another Republican shutdown of government, or do we want to move forward? And I think a lot of us would rather have solutions than not. But to the degree that the Republican majority is going to try to sneak in things through the back door that don't include what was part of this budget deal, then I think Democrats are going to say, then you should be helping Americans who've lost their
I'm
jobs.
not sure what Javier's talking about. Even, I'm opposed to this deal, but I haven't heard of anybody trying to sneak in anything.
Let me tell you what's being discussed. Let me tell you what's being discussed.
But let's just I want to take a step back, big picture now. I'm watching this Republican Party. I think we're trying to understand how it functions, how it operates. It seems to me, I don't like Paul Ryan's policies, but he is trying to show some leadership. And he seems like he's getting bug zapped now by a lot of grassroots conservatives and some people in Congress who are calling him almost a traitor. I saw the same thing happen.
I don't see that happening at all. Well, I haven't heard anybody in Congress call him a traitor. I think Paul Ryan is dealing with the reality that we didn't have the votes to pass a continuing resolution at the 967 levels. He's doing the best he can. So I don't see anybody in Congress.
Think it hurts him? So you don't think it hurts him now? You got the grassroots base out there. You got Heritage out there who are saying it's a terrible thing. Eric Erickson says it's a terrible thing. And I see a pattern. Marco Rubio jumped out, says he's against it. And I see a pattern now. Marco Rubio, when he tried to lead on immigration, I saw him get bug zapped. Now here you've got you're getting bug zapped, and now you got and now you've got Paul Ryan in danger. Is this leadership? Is this cannibalization?
No, it's not at all. It's the fact that you have some people with really good ideas that are going out there and trying to present those ideas to the American public. I don't see anything wrong. In fact, you talked about the poll numbers. When the American people see us leading, see us actually fighting for something that we believe in, like we did during the shutdown, the Democrats continue to say that we were against funding the government. We were actually for funding the government. We were against Obamacare.
So you thought the shutdown was good for you guys?
Why do you see the poll numbers right now are actually good for us?
Well, right now the Tea Party is less popular than ever, and it seems to me that you guys are afraid to go. Well, the shutdown's so good. When you do it again?
No, absolutely not. But nobody wants a shutdown. But what the American people saw was a group of people that are willing to stand for something and have a direct contrast between the Democrats and the Republicans. They're for Obamacare. You know you love Obamacare. You know that you love everything about it. The American people are actually receiving less benefits. They're receiving less health savings and all those things.
No,
so you know it is true.
No, that's not true.
And that's why
but that doesn't make it true.
But it's happening when people are receiving the letters and they're finding out that they're receiving
a letter so they can get converted to a new policy.
That's not true.
There are close to 3 million Americans.
Javier, I'm paying $500. I'm going to pay $500 more per month.
Are losing health insurance when 3 million Americans have now gained health insurance.
That's not true.
Poppycocker. That's like bug zapping. Whatever.
The American people are realizing that under Democratic policies, they perform worse. The economy performs worse.
You've been very clear about your opposition to Obamacare. I'm trying to understand. I think those of us who believe in bipartisanship and are trying to figure out how to work with you guys, every time we see somebody stand up and try to reach across, it seems to me they run into some real trouble with your grassroots base. At what point do you, as a leader in the Tea Party, have to turn to your base and say, hold on a second, sometimes we are going to have to compromise?
I do it all the time. That's why I only have a 67% rating with Heritage Action. I mean, you think
proud of that?
I am, because what we have is people in Washington who think that what we do is I wake up in the morning and I look what Heritage is telling me to do. I don't do that. I actually think for myself. I look at every single vote individually. I have worked with Javier on some legislation. I work with Democrats all the time. I'm doing legislation all the time with people on different issues. But what it means is that...
he's so reasonable. Why are you guys having a hard time working with these guys?
Well, but at the end of the day, they won't vote for their own bills. The bill that reopened the government was the Republican budget number. Yet it was the 200 Democrats who had to support this. Of the 230 or so Republicans, only about 80 of them voted for this. We had to carry their bill so we could reopen government.
But again, that's not true.
Absolutely. The numbers there. The exact numbers, 144 Republicans voted against their own budget bill. Only 87 voted for it. 198 Democrats had to join with the 87
because it had a clean debt ceiling without doing absolutely anything.
We had to carry your load for you.
Well, hey, listen, and I got to carry this load to the commercial break, so I want you guys to stay right here. Listen, next we're going to have a final question for both of our guests. We also want you at home to weigh in on today's fireback question. Who do you think made out better under the budget deal? You can tweet Democrats or Republicans using hashtag Crossfire. We're going to give you those results when we get back after the break.